All right, man. Reminisce Show, carrying the traditions of Sankofa, because sometimes we got to go back and collect what we may have forgotten. We got some exclusive energy happening right now, man. It's I'm excited for what is about to manifest, man. But before we get into our special guest here today, man, how you feeling, brother?
I'm good. I'm super amazing. I'm in the studio right now. I can't say too
Woo!
much, but with my people, Type A Records, and that's our guest is a representative of Type A Records. He's going to be giving a surprise interview. We have a nice surprise to give the people in a sec. But how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well, man. I'm just, currently building at one of the schools here, and just had a pretty nice meeting. And I look, man, just a lot on the table. I got my hands in all different kinds of cookie jars. You know what I mean? So I'm just building, connecting, activating, and I'm just excited to get. We got some live broadcast, man, from the
Yeah,
motherland. I
let's get
love
it in. Let's show them.
I love when we do these sessions and people are in different places around the world and whatnot. So man, we got Reminisce Show alumni, you know what I mean, coming back on broadcasting live from the motherland on the ground, man, from Uganda, representing, man. Tough
Let's
Dumpling
get them in. Let's get
Productions,
them in. While the
Who is
connection
it,
is
man?
still
Let's
live,
go.
we don't.
Hey.
Go on.
Yeah.
Look at the fit, yo. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm from the motherland, man. Live from the motherland. Not a son. Oh my gosh, you're so lovely out here, man.
That's
Yo.
all I
Dumpling in
want.
the building.
Tough Dumpling in the building. OG hip hop fam, yo. Please, as long as we can get for what you like. What brings you to where you're at? Just let the people know what you're doing.
It's actually it. I was planning to come down here for something completely different, and this an opportunity arose out of the blue that we ended up in Uganda. We were actually going somewhere else, and then I was talking to my boy, and he was like, "I'm going to Uganda," and I was like, "What's going on there?" He says, "There's a hip hop festival." So they're gonna do they're going down. It's heads from Dwayne Morgan, Northern Griots. They're all down here. They came for the spoken word for the hip hop thing.
Yo, that's sick.
I knew about that.
So
that's crazy.
It's Toronto deep in the building, right?
So that was it playing that was it. That's crazy.
Yeah, because a lot of Word Life, that first album, that was one of the biggest spoken word album. I produced almost at least a quarter of that album. I produced the Motion single. I produced Ant Degree single. So I was always attached to the spoken word scene. So when they made a move and things pop off, I was like, all right, I'll roll down. But it's a hip hop festival and they do spoken word. So it worked out both. And the people down here that they're linked with, look, I was shocked. We were linked in so many ways that we couldn't even talk. I posted that I was here. Why look from the circle hit me up and they did a remix on a Tough Dumpling beat. And the guy that I'm sitting next to was the one who put the remix together. And he goes, "That's your beat?" So there's all these people here who rap on a Tough Dumpling beat, and so then we were in another situation where Tanzania, but just before COVID hit, I did a collaboration with an artist in Tanzania, but I sent my 16 bars, but they didn't put out the remix, and I changed my phone so I didn't have their contact. So I'm down here in Uganda, and one of the people we were with is playing the instrumental. And I was like, "How did you get that instrumental?" He's like, "I'm featured on that." And I'm like, "What? So me and you are on the same song?" So I played him my 16. He played me his 16. Immediately, he called the guy in Tanzania and go, "Look, why is this song out? We both got hot 16. He calls us up back from Tanzania going, "All right, I'll have the song done for Tuesday." Yeah. And so there's all these interconnection of music. Somehow I'm connected with out here. That's just this. I don't know, man. It's just like a whirlwind.
I love that. It's
so
beautiful.
Like the people I'm rolling with, the people that brought us down, I have songs with them indirectly.
That's hip hop, yo. That's music. That's amazing.
Crazy.
That's amazing.
And so there's just to know that, and they rocked on my beat in 2007. Like, what? So the remix, they did a remix with my beat with local artists from here. And it was like, so the fact that I'm sitting next to the person that has it on their computer playing me what was done like years ago on my beat in this continent, I'm like, oh no, this is some next level ish right here.
Yo, that's meant to be, man.
Yeah, so I'm down here promoting Tough Dumplin, and Tough Dumplin been out here, you know, like I've been here without even knowing, you know.
Yo, that is so sick. That's so sick.
Yeah, so the vibe's been really good. They have a hip hop show out here on one of the biggest television network, and they were here. I was just tagging along because they're about to promote the hip hop festival that's going on. I think the 17th. And while I'm there, they were like, "Yo, put them on," and I'm like live on air on TV in the next second, just rapping my ass off. So it was just like. And so when I was going to conferences, people were like, "Oh, you were just on TV." I'm like, everything is kind of just flowing. It's like I couldn't even make it up, you know.
Man,
so because me being on TV wasn't planned. It was just the guy who was like, "Yo, you got to check this dude out. He has the whole Jamaican style, and they love the Jamaican flavor down here." And so it's just been like one of those things where it's just like, damn, like I'm at the right place, right time, you know?
Oh, that's so good to hear.
The ancestors are with you. The connection is there. And like, as you're talking about food, you know, I'm always interested in like the food connections, you know, like the Caribbean, African, like, you know, you say there's a big Jamaican, you know, appreciation out there. Is there any kind of alignment that you've seen?
Well, their main dish is green banana. So the chances, the joke was that it's just like just add Aki to it and it's a Jamaican main dish, you know. So we already had an alliance when I came down here because I didn't know that. Someone was just like, "Oh, you like to talk about food? Well, it's the B side of your album," and I'm like, "Oh, the banana side is your traditional." So I thought it was, and they have this thing called Rolex, which remind me it's like almost like a roti wrap with more like egg, tomato, and you could have chicken and stuff in it. And so when I got here, everybody's like, "Yo, you got to try the Rolex." And it took me a second because, you know, So now I'm writing lyrics like, "Watch me eat a Rolex." The key, like in the punchline, like watch in the, like I'm trying to come up with clever ways to eat Rolex. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah, so right now, I don't even know where I'm at right now. Do you know where we're at right now? Ginger? I think it's Ginger with a J. And it's basically they have a drumming circle going on as we speak outside. Like it's nighttime here. So it's about 10:30. And there's a drum circle. Everybody's around the fire outside. And just, you know, telling stories and right off the Nile River. And so
yo, Tristan, I got a shout out Uganda to Germany connection.
Yes.
How you doing out there?
I'm good. Mr. Rickshaw in the building.
That's right. We're here in the studio today doing some work, you know, getting that type A work in today. But
all right, I know you at it.
Yeah, I'm so excited about everything you've been talking about and everything you've been saying. Your trip sounds amazing, and of course you're making connections like that. You're Tough Dumplin.
Come on.
Yeah, man, it's been dope. Today, the band the group that's actually drumming outside, we had a freestyle session in another region, and I'm gonna post that later on. But you'll catch a vibe. Like, they have a sick flow out here. I didn't understand what they were saying, but the pattern of the delivery is like crazy. So when I jumped on, they did their native language, and I went into patois with the drumming. Oh, like when you, like, if you watch the end of the video, you're gonna see the video pull out, and you see us, and then you see a tribe behind us, like a tribe of people. And it's like, it's insane that to have this freestyle just in this middle of this land, and having this tribe come out, and both of us spit in their native tongue. It's like, yo,
we need that.
Yeah.
No one more deserving of this experience than you, my friend. You and Ms. Akar do a great, incredible work. You totally deserve this.
Straight up, yo. That's so you were talking about the cipher, but you're there for a concert, right? Like, what's it? Can you talk about?
Yeah,
I saw a picture.
It's a hip hop conference, / performance, but throughout of it, I gotta say, throughout this, since I've been here, I feel like we just been performing. We meet other artists, and the whole thing is we immediately either start talking about certain topics and then get into a freestyle. And so that's been the connection way we've just been connecting. So every freestyle, at the end of the freestyle, it goes into a conversation like, so what is it like here? What is it like there? Like, the base of having a conversation is so energetic because we just finished freestyling and we didn't even know what each other was saying, you know? So it gets to a point where it's just like, damn, how could it sound so good, but you can't understand? So we have to verbally go, so what the hell were you saying? And then that leads into the whole cultural differences. It just sets the platform to have a great conversation.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask, like, the intersections, you know what I mean? Because, like, you've traveled now, you know, the continent, parts of Africa, the Caribbean, New York, Toronto, and, like, what would you say is kind of like the intersections of all these, like, spaces that brings together? You kind of, like, touched on it, but I wanted to see if there's anything else to add on to.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of the things that most of us found was we'd be talking, and every time we talk to somebody, we always go, it feels like I already know you already. Like, in the first couple of conversations, everybody's just like, it's this natural instinct that is just like, we walk in the room going, oh, them over there, they look so different. And within like 2 seconds of talking, we're the same. And it's everybody kept doing that. Like, everybody kept talking about, like, I was talking to this guy about film and video, and we were talking, and someone entered the conversation, and they're like, so how long you guys known each other? And I was like, oh, I just came off the plane 4 hours ago. I've never been here before. And they're like, what? You guys just been talking like you guys grew up together. And I'm like, no, it's just the energy of like, oh, that's cool, that's dope. Like, we just had, and it was happening a lot. And I found that generally is what happens, because, you know, we all come in with a different style. He's dressed differently, I'm dressed differently. Oh, they're American, they might be locals. But then once the conversation hits in the first couple of bars, everybody's just like, yo, we're a lot more alike, you know? And so I think that was one of those common things that everybody kept saying. Like, I everybody we talked to felt like we knew him already, you know?
No, that's amazing.
That's super. Yeah, go ahead, Bender.
Yeah, that's so amazing. And like, I just wanted to add, like, what has been the concert experience like connecting it from the artist, like when you're performing to the crowds in various different languages or whatever, like, how does the crowd feel? How does even like the rooms that you're performing in feel, the technology, like how is the performance experience?
I think I mean, I do have a little bit of edge because there's such a fan for Jamaican reggae music. So initially they hear me talk, but when my verse kicks in and the heavy patois kicks in, you could see everybody eyes light up. And it's it's the same energy from when I rap in Toronto. Like you see it immediately where you can't tell where I'm going and they hear a punchline about some food and they get it, you know? So it's one of those things where it's like me rapping in Toronto. I felt like the reaction was the same. I kept thinking there was just going to be this barrier because there might be a language barrier, but they're such a fan of reggae music that the tone immediately, they're like, oh, this reminds me of reggae, you know? And so every space I've been in, if someone saw me at the other space, they're like, yo, you got to get him on the mic. You got to get him on the mic. So even freestyles that I wasn't a part of, someone from the last freestyle would like try to bring me in because they knew I was going to bring a different kind of energy. And so that's been really cool in the sense of like the tone of thinking they may not understanding. They may be a misunderstanding and not understanding what I'm saying. And then as soon as I spit, the energy goes back and forth. And you're gonna see, I don't know when I'm gonna post the video, but some of that. Cause some videos are if they're too long, they have a hard time uploading. So I'm not sure how long we were freestyling for on one of the videos. But the one that I wanna post, you're gonna hear the dialect in this, the timing is on point, but you won't make out any of the words because he's rapping in his native tongue. And then but the breaks and the drop with the live drums, it's insane. And so when I came on and he heard the cadence, you could see him in the video getting as hype as I was. And I don't know if he understood every word, but the energy of the tone, oh my gosh. Like, and then when you pull back and you see like people around us, like Canadian people, and then the tribal people around us, and we're all like engaged. It was almost like it brought the whole, wherever part we were, we brought the whole community together because they could hear their own native tongue alongside something that was out, but they were working on the same rhythm. You know?
There's like so much that's like coming to mind as you're speaking, you know, like the first thing that came to mind was just like alchemy, like this ability to like transmute and use like the energy of the room and to build. And then another train of thought came to mind is like, you know, I don't want to get too abstract, but you know, like 5D, 5 dimension, you know, like the age of Aquarius type of stuff where we're surpassing like these barriers that once kind of like us, you know, apart. Like we're moving like beyond that, and now we're like connecting to realize that we are all one, you know. And then the last part that came to mind is ancestry. You know, everything you're talking about is getting back to ancestry. So no matter where we are, we're coming back, realize these differences, and this is kind of like the colonial unpacking, like, you know, the decolonization that we're going through, to realize that all these things that were different, like, yo, it's all one, you know what I mean? So getting back to that, but also embracing our differences at the same time. It's like recognizing that there are differences, but those aren't the barriers that may have like prevented us from connecting once upon a time. So even if you don't understand the language, it's the vibration that you understand. So you may not know what's going on, but you know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So,
and I think that's why I said I want to post this video, because I feel like you guys are gonna see it, and you're gonna see me rapping and the guys just jumping up, like they're jumping and I'm jumping, and I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. We all spin in a zone and everybody's just going off, you know. The locals are going off, everybody just vibing out. So it's been really interesting. And talking to people here is like crazy, because when they're talking to you, it's like an even exchange. Like you're thinking, oh yeah, I'm coming in, but when you're talking, it's giving me ideas. And I remember one girl I was talking to, she wanted to, we were talking about films and making films and telling story and stuff like that. And it was cool because, you know, I was giving her an idea how I make my films and how I try to go about it. And at the end of the conversation, I was trying to ask her, are you trying to go to America to make a film, or, you know, where you wanted to? No, she's like, no, I want to take it back to my tribe and teach them how to tell stories, to make their own stories. And I was like, that's so sick. Because in my mind, I thought, you know, you're trying to go the other way. No, she wanted to get the information to go back to the tribe and go, look, here's how we could broadcast our own stories. And I'm like, that's sick, you know.
That is so sick. Love to hear that.
Yeah,
Love to like.
She came to the city to learn what she can from anything, to go back to the rural areas to bring back the experience and the knowledge she found out about how to tell stories. And I was like,
that's so amazing.
Yeah, it was really dope. I was like, because in your head you're thinking, oh, you're trying to get to America or you're trying to like blow up here. No, it was literally came into town to get information to take back to the tribe.
That's so like, amazing. I was gonna. I mean, that's definitely. I was starting to the question that I had next is like, are you seeing like what other thing? Like, I was so happy when I went to Ghana. I saw like a woman walking down the alley, and she actually was still like carrying baskets and her laundry on her head. I was like, oh, that's so wonderful. Like these tribal traditions, African traditions that like, no, they don't do that in North America. I'm like, yo, if people walk with their groceries on their head here, people are like, what? But it's like, yo, this is African tradition. It's good for your posture. You like, you can carry more with it because you have a head balance. But I'm saying all that to say, like, what else are you seeing there that you are not seeing in North America? Like, what are you like, oh my God, like things that are just very surprising?
I think on average is how good the food is. They were explaining to me that the soil here is so good that they're pretty much export to a lot of the other cities around because Uganda's soil is really good. So everything we ate, it was just like, it was crazy because to get that much vegetable on a plate in the US, first of all, it's bad and it's expensive. So you're paying for not good greens. And just to have a plate full of greens, everything is healthy and fresh, and you know it's not coming from miles away. And this is to have that every day, and you're not even paying American prices. I mean, it's like we're talking maybe like $2.50. You know what I'm saying? American. Wow. And it's like you're eating right versus, you know, you could go to a Jamaican spot and pay almost $20 and you're just having rice and the chicken, no veggie, no nothing. And so it's just, and the people here are healthy. Everybody looks healthy. And somebody was telling us that the one thing that they have here is like no one should be going hungry because there's plenty of food. And that's a lot to be said.
Yeah, speak
you know
on
what I'm
that,
saying?
Like food security is such a big topic, man. But speak about that.
Security is big, and I think when they said it, they didn't even know how. I don't think they knew how big that was. You know.
Word.
Yeah, because here, I mean, in America, it's a struggle just to keep an overhead, and so people will friggin', you know, do their best to keep their overhead and just eat really bad. You know, you kind of versus here is just like, look. The average person who live in a friggin' live on the streets is eating better than the average person who has a 9-to-5.
Wow.
So you're saying,
you know what I'm saying? Like, if you really think about it.
Yeah. Like,
it
shows you what's really valuable.
Yeah. And so to just know that, like, you could literally come down here and just bring $100 in your pocket and you could figure out how to make that last for a couple months because the food's good.
$100 can last a couple months for food?
Well, it all depends. Like, so the guy that was bringing us around, let me just put that. The guy that was bringing us around said what really changed, because he's from the region and he went to school in Vancouver.
Okay.
And then he came back to the land. Okay. And he said he'd been trying to network back and forth in Uganda for a while. And it's when he fell flat, where something fell through and he didn't have any money, he came back with $100 and he goes, that's when everything happened. It was with the 100 when he had the Canadian dollars trying to pay to get things done and things just wasn't moving. But with the $100, he goes talking to people, and we going, this is what we need done to make a movement. It just, food wasn't an issue, so it's just like, feed the man and let's make the movement. And that's the big thing that he was pointing out. And I was like, that makes sense, because if you're going with the mentality that I'm able to eat, you just want to bring people together to make a movement. If everybody's eating, it's easy to make the movement happen. Versus where we're at, everybody's starving, trying to make a movement, and the one person who has the money, we're all looking up to him like God, and we're not really moving together. He's really moving and we're following. You know what I'm saying? Versus if we all wake up in the morning and we're all eating, then we're like, all right, here's our goals for the day, and we all decide that we're heading that direction on a full belly.
Wow. That's so more collaboration, man. I love that. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So those are the kind of things I've been taking in while I've been out here.
Yo, like, can you build on your fit though, man? Like, I'm seeing some like Jamaican flags. Like, did you get that out there in Uganda?
Nah, this is actually custom designed for a music video. It's a music video that's supposed to come out next year, and basically the patterns was it's a Latin West Indian mix. So I have a lot of Jamaican patterns and Jamaican flag, and they have a lot of Latin culture mixed in their clothing. And so that's why I have the Jamaican flag one, because in the video I'm representing the West Indies, they representing the Latin flavor. And so that project comes out later on. So I've been loving the gear ever since I rocked it in the video. So like, there's actually a can of Aki on a hoodie, so half of the hoodie's can of Aki, and then I have a full banana shirt. Like I have my whole Aki banana theme clothing pretty much for this video.
I can't express how much I appreciate it. Like every time I hear it, like I don't know why, man. Like I can hear it like 1,000 times, but when the way how you say it, the way you deliver it, it gets me so excited that like, yo, I need some Aki banana right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I have to go get it, eat it. Like you can say it 100 times and it'll still hit me like the first time that I've heard it. I'm just like, yo, this man actually just like, yo, this guy's blowing up the spot. Like, yo, making it popular, yo. Oh my gosh, it's so crucial, right? Because I always go back to like, you know, coming up as a youth, like, yo, like there was a time where Jamaican food was not as popping. I mean, it was always popping, but not in like the main.
Yeah. Not in that kind of way. You know what I mean?
And then when you started putting in lyrics and whatever, and kind of like popularized it and made it cool, at least in a larger context, like, yo, the big thing. Man. Yeah.
No, Dumplin all day, bro. Yo, I don't even front. Like a dumpling is one of my favorite things in the world to eat. I'm like, hey, dog, try and eat my dumpling.
The dog's coming for your dumpling.
But yo, like I like Akin, but I like it's one of my favorite meals of all time. Like you represent it so good. You're perfect for the brand. You're like the education, everything you do with it. It just. And like, yo, I also want to shout out, like,
he got me eating bananas.
This guy.
You need the green banana, not the yellow banana, but it's okay though. Still. Same way.
Yo, I definitely gotta shout out though the people that you're with, because I think I heard Miss Ikara in the background. So I just wanted to, if you wanted to big up anybody else you're out there with, or any. Who else are you seeing?
Dwayne Morgan. We got Dwayne Morgan. Who else we got here? Eddie, the original one. Eddie, the original one's out here.
Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie's out here. Ant Degree's out here. Well,
Randall.
Randall's out here.
Peace.
Yep. Oh, yeah, we're missing somebody. What's Paula's? Baba Luke is holding us down. Baba Luke is putting everything together. So we gotta shout out Baba Luke, because Baba Luke, I shot him out. Yeah. and female wise, Paulina O'Keefe.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Paulina
Maybe get the whole
O'Keefe.
squad out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sweet.
there's a big squad. There's a pretty big squad out here. So it's dope though, because it's like we're just sharing Toronto ideas, and I'm sharing New York, Toronto, and Jamaica ideas, just because I've been living in too much damn places. But yeah, the network of us just going and talking to these people is it's just dope, man. It's just have that exchange, and we're coming from different point of views too, you know. And it's kind of cool because Degree was talking about like stuff from the Trini background, and I was talking about stuff from the Jamaican background. So like, we're not just talking about, oh, we're in America or Canada or wherever. We're also bringing what it's like from our background culture that we're from. So it expands more than just the Americans. It's like, yo, these Jamaican Canadians, American, Jamaican, Trini, Canadian. And so we're bringing that melting pot to the vibe. And you could tell everybody's just like, it's just so many ways to think of it, you know? Because I mean, there's a lot of stuff down here that reminds me of Jamaica. Like if I close my eyes and just open up on any random road without looking at the people, I might think I was in Jamaica.
Well, I mean,
so there's a lot of similarity how they set up their shops and how they, you know, like how they run things. They have these carts, and just there's so many similarities to like what I see in Jamaica that I'm just like, oh, so is this way? Like who's it must have came from here. You know, because you're kind of seeing, you only know the world you came from. So you when you cross over to another world, you're kind of like, wait, it's here too, you know, kind of vibe.
It's the DNA, man. The DNA is strong, you know what I mean? Like the spirit don't lie, man. It's almost like, you know, if like a child is born and they never met their parents, they're still gonna have like characteristics and attributes of their parents, even if they never like met them. You know what I mean? So similar to like, you know, especially in the Jamaican or Caribbean context, like you already don't know, like, you know, like stolen from Africa. And then the things that we're able to like carry is like our traditions, you know, like our spirituality, our food, our dances. Like those are kind of the only things that can really, you know, connect. So it makes perfect sense. But it's beautiful the fact that you're able to come back, you know, return to the continent and make those connections. And now we're in this new world, so to speak, you know what I mean, where like the African diaspora is more connecting with Africa and then branching back out, you know what I mean? So a lot of the things that you're learning, you know, while you're there, like, you know, I know you're going to be able to incorporate that with other places that you go. So when you return back to you know, New York or Toronto or whatever, you're going to have like, you know, some new energy, some new inspirations to incorporate.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like it's just, there's just so much to take in, because there's like we've been in different regions since we've been here. And so I've been asking what's different about the area we're in. And one guy says to me, is like, well, if we go to a party, we'll see it, but we might not necessarily see it right away looking on the streets, right? Like, he's like, there's going to be something different about the food. There's going to be something different about the way the music they listen to or how they listen to it. But because we're not in those settings, we're just driving by, we can't really pick up what these differences are. I see it in some of the styles a little bit, but it's, so, I mean, we've driven through a bunch of little towns, and I'm kind of like, I'm so curious as what makes it different from the other town, you know? And so, I've been learning.
So sorry, that's one of my last questions. Like, and you talked about the woman who's going back to the village with the camera to teach her elder, like, you know, here we have like small town, big town, but it's kind of just the same thing, except Toronto is just a big version of, you know, Ottawa. But is there like a drastic urban rural difference? Is it like big city and then like a small village? Like, are you seeing really
they operate kind of differently, because most people, I find the smaller areas, they have their own community that kind of like old school, where someone might do bananas and someone might do, you know, chickens, and somebody might do, and so every community kind of comes out and sell their product, and that's how like I said, there's a lot of people just living off the land. So cities more, you get there and this is like cars, bikes, this whole thing versus the rural area. I mean, we're not in super world right now, but it's pretty. There's nothing out here, you know. There's literally like just people going to maybe up the road to grab water if they're not attached to any tap, but it could be pitch black. So they operate on a different system because I mean they if you're moving in a tribe, it's a bigger community. So you know, like if we go somewhere and there's no lights, we freak out because we don't really have any community. We're just like, yo, who the hell is around us? But if you're in the dark around your people and every neighbor you know who's over there, even if you can't see, you're gonna feel more at home, you know. So it's just a difference. We might think it's something scary, but to them it's like, no, I'm out here with my people. So the moment something doesn't sound right, everybody knows what to look out for.
Amazing.
You know what I'm saying? So it operates a little bit different the deeper you get away from the cities.
Wow.
But there's a lot of people bringing information back and everybody's open. So when we get to these areas, people might look for a second, but if you really start talking to them, you realize, oh yeah, they know what's up. You know, like it's almost just like, yeah, we have people in the city. We don't live in the city, but enough people go back and forth to exchange information. Yeah. So when they see you, they're not reacting like, where do you come from kind of thing. You could literally talk to people. Like people were like, when we drove in a part where I swear the whole town was looking at us. And when we drove out, the whole town was waving at us. It's almost like, I hope you guys enjoy your stay. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, that's love,
like
man. Beautiful,
you know,
beautiful.
when you go to a town and people are looking at you like, oh shoot, like we really stand out, right? But we're leaving and it's almost a cheer, like I hope you had a good time, you know. And so yeah, and so typically you think you get the same look leaving, like, oh, they're left now. Nah, it wasn't like that. It was literally kids running up to the car going, hi, you know, like, did you have a good time? Because they knew that we were where we were going, because everybody kind of knows the land, and they're like, oh, they're probably gonna go to the water over there or whatever. So like and the people we're rolling with, people know them, so it's almost like, yo, here's my new friends, let me introduce you to them, and we learn their way of life, and we tell them our, and it's on like an even ground. There's no hierarchy. It's almost like everybody can't wait to learn the other person experience, and I think that's what I really liked about it.
Yo, I love how you said that, man. Like, that's how it was when I was in Ghana, man. I was like, yo, even though I didn't see there was no buildings higher than 2 stories. They didn't have a lot of paved road. There wasn't red light, green light. But I was like, they're so rich in culture and family and community and friendship. And I'm like, yo, it doesn't matter about all the lack of finances and technology. They have all this other valuable human stuff that all of us have forgotten pretty much in North America. And I'm like, yo, man, it's just gray here and selfish. And like,
and it's funny because some people I talk to, they're excited about America. They're like, what is it like? Like, what is it like there? And I tell them there's a lot of good things, but just as good, there is a lot of bad things. But there's something to be said about being able to eat all this good food. And I was just like, just for your base every day. And so they're like, what? What are you talking about? I was like, the food, like, you're going to go to, New York and drink Starbucks and your McDonald's and all that stuff. I was like, it might look cool on TV, but you don't want to be eating that crap. It's just like, and it was like, oh, really? And it's just like, so they, make sure they recognize where they're at is great, because sometimes you don't know because you haven't had the opportunity to leave, and everything outside is seen as it might be better.
It's shiny.
So to have somebody come in and go, no, this is good food. Don't look at those McDonald's, KFC ad this is this. I will fly here to eat this, and they go, really? You'll fly back here to eat this? I'm like, yes, I can eat it 24/7, and it's cheaper and healthier versus this more expensive and less healthier. And they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And they're just like,
oh my god,
that makes sense.
But sometimes you gotta have to point those things out because it's hard to get visas to travel these countries. So if you never been, everything just looks like, man, it's so good out there because you're just looking through a TV window, you know? And so it's almost like trying to find the balance between telling something the good and the bad. Like, I like the technology of me learning cameras and Pro Tools and Logic and all these things. You guys could get access to them in some ways, but the form there is just, it's easy to get plugins and all of this stuff, you know, like we have a system that.
Yeah. Oh no, we froze.
Oh no.
Well, when he comes back, it'll be cool to just, if we can get him to, you know, just introduce the video real quick, if that's a possibility, and maybe y'all can talk a bit about it.
That saying the thing about it is,
Yo, we're glitching. Oh man, you all right? Yeah, we're back.
Yeah.
Do you want to maybe finish your point and then maybe introduce the Run That video?
All right. Where was I in my point? Where was I what was I starting?
I
can't remember.
Well, the glitch just chopped it.
How did I start the sentence?
Well, it was so just after, when you're building on like the food, about like flying, you know, out to Uganda to get the healthier foods and whatnot.
He said it was hard for to get the visa.
Yeah, a lot of times, because it's hard for them to get the visas to fly out to these places. It's like, people are telling me they've been turned down 3 or 4 times. So to them, just like, I'm just gonna take in what's on the TV and try to figure out what I could figure out. And I'm just like, those are the challenges that they have from here. So you kind of have to figure out what the good and the bad is, and I'll tell them the things that I like about, you know, the access to the new technology and access to this. But there becomes a point where you're just buying stuff. You got Pro Tools, but then you might buy Logik because they're selling you on something new, and then it's ongoing. So I was trying to explain to somebody that the limitation sometimes is good because it allows you just to focus. You're not always just trying to buying the next thing. You're able to work with the things you have once you get it. And so those are kind of the stuff I try to put on, you know, word of advice from what I could see. And on that note, we could go into the brand new Mindbender video, Run That, featuring me, Hyperbole. You don't know how we doing it. Type A Records all day.
Yes. It's an honor to have you here, man. Like, I'm so happy, and like, I'm honored to be a part of this song. But for me, it's a celebration of the greatness of Tristan, a Collision Tough Dumplin, because you made the beat, you made the video, you're rapping the verse, the ideas, you made the greatest production of a video I've ever been part of. You have put in green screen work. You made a mini movie with a little cameo, the homie.
Thank you.
And you're in Uganda introducing like a video we've made together. Like, it's so great to just see your growth and see your journey and be a part of it. I'm like so happy for you. And like, run that. Let's show this video. And like, it's late at 10 o'clock there. After the video, we can let you go. And like, thank you so much for this.
So
no problem.
I didn't invite anybody.
Oh, you didn't invite anybody? I invited a ton of people, man. I know they're here.
Oh, shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, the award for Best Male Performance in a Hip Hop Porn goes to Mindbender Supreme!
You want to get Leonardo DiCaprio?
The weekend, though. The weekend.
Well, I love your girlfriends too. That's all. I'm going to an orgy. Bye.
So you like it, can it be anybody who battled me? Next can never run me. Everybody dying tragically. So when you chillin', killin', feeling higher than the ceiling. Type A motherfucker, gangster, master. The blood clot, the dog bark. But if in young coca bread, I'm party and I use fuck. Josh, soy water. Leave you with a little more. It's Saki banana, nobody no charge like Racha. Who is a make a rap in a batwa? Dirty and muddy, no clean like Sinatra. Elastic, ooh, it's fantastic. Million like the running curl, drop up in a plastic. Type A, you know we run that. Said the 90s never come back. Come move back, pull up your boom strap, you crew whack, and you jack, you're under attack. Type A, you know we run that. Said the 90s never come back. Come move back, pull up your boom strap, you crew whack, and you jack, you're under attack.
Alright, cut the lights, track the film can't do. The shot's not right, too bright, too bright. The film crew, what hurdles? I'm solving all the wordles, jumping Yertle the turtle, so reaching higher than Steve Urkel's great heights. I'm Mike Tyson when my time, my friends don't stop me until I be coming again. What the fuck's up and come again? That's the problem with coming again. It's not safe. When you second, next step, that black is death, but that by legends, so friendless, don't be pretentious, making a comeback, working the one track, trash and blast, up the mess, a stash of crack, whack, slide on their back, now it's not that I fighting a fly, smashing a forward ass, tripping on a dash, and goddamn me so fastable, yeah, too fast, slashing with captains, assassin, a magic, tragic, actually spastic, seized up, cuffed up, mind been highballing, excellent jackets, and lasting, and fail flag, we found the fat like fat night, goddamn it, he crammed his slam to the back, but it's also fast, he hands it, pass it.
Type A, you know we run that. Said the 90s never come back. Come pull back, pull up your boom strap, you crew whack, and you jack, you're under attack. Type A, you know we run that. Said the 90s never come back. Come pull back, pull up your boom strap, you crew whack, and you jack, you're under attack.
Hey.
Yeah, man. The video
Fire.
Mad energy. Anything you want to say about the video?
That shit was just mad fun. It took forever to edit, though. Shooting it was quick, but editing it was just like one of those things. Is when you're dealing with green screen, you kind of have to make up this world. And so I was building the world in my head. So it was almost just like, all right, we're rapping and there's nothing going on in the back. What should it be? And I actually did the first pass, and then I actually edited it, and I was like, it's not working. I went back and forth, and then came up with the new backgrounds, and I was like, this is gonna be fire. Because it matched the energy of the vocals.
Right.
And so I was literally cutting the background to every line that we were saying. And then for Mindbender part, I wanted to figure Mindbender part's actually pretty interesting because I took two routes. I took a jokey route, but it had this thing because so someone was just like, you know, I heard Mindbender one time talking to somebody and they were trying to link with him and he goes, you know, I do porn. and he said it in context like, you got to know everything about me so you accept me. And I thought the way you said it, and I thought the awards is the highest thing that people accept in America, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, what if Mindbender is like, America accept Mindbender for who he is?
He's like, oh, another one?
And then at the end of the day, he wins all the awards, and he goes, all right, fuck you guys, I'm going to orgy. You know what I'm saying? The fact that he's like, all right, I got all the awards, but I'm still me, you know? And there was like a kind of a double story in how I shot that. Because to the average person who don't know Mindbender, they still think the scene is funny. But people who know Mindbender, they're like, ooh, that's like a clever way to actually tell both sides of him. Where you're laughing about the situation, but you're not laughing at the person, you're laughing at the scenario of the situation. And so I thought it was interesting because in my mind it was subliminal doing this thing was, oh, let's do something that's the highest exception. And the awards is like the highest thing that people could look up to and go, we accept you as a person in life. You know?
Yes. It's so genius. I fucking love. You're so right. Like when I went back and watched it again, and I saw you put me in the middle of Leonardo DiCaprio and Matt Damon and I think Michael Fassbender. I was like, this is so genius. When you like the nominees, I was like, this is so brilliant. It's so hilarious. The awards, it was so fun to shoot. Everybody, the cameos. You were a perfect professional, but like on set, it was fun. And then the final version was like 5 times better than anything I even imagined what you would do. And it's just like, it's a home run.
Thanks,
yeah, man. Like, it's so great. Is that's the very first time in any video I've ever had, I've had like a mini skit, movie, story, or anything. So thank you for that. Like, just, yeah.
No problem. I mean, people know me for the skits on the first Nefarious album. The skits were like, everybody used to talk about the skits. Remember when we did Whackers Essential? And then like we were dissing Rappers Essential on one of the skits.
Oh,
but I remember people used to come up to me and go, how'd you come up with these skits? Like, they're hilarious. Because I used to just make all these interludes all the time. But in the song, it breaks the song up a bit because the colors and everything is so punchy. And the timing of when it breaks, the colors come back in and punch. Because if you notice, it's really dark at the awards. Right. But it's almost to say that awards are boring. And that's what made it like it was so clean. Because you were in a tux, everybody was in a tux, and he was like, well, the video was so colorful, and you guys just went to this shit. What happened?
And it's cool that like the awards wasn't even like the main like point, you know. I mean, that was like literally like an interlude, and this is supposed to be the highest like standard of like recognition, and that's like not even it. Like, you know, like you said, like my man is ready to go jump back into like, you know, his business, you know what I mean? So and then it goes back to color. So yeah, very clever, man. Beautiful.
Fantastic video, man.
Yo, man.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful session today. Yo, incredible. Yo, big up from Uganda. Thank you for coming and building with us, man, and sharing your creativity. I love the fact that you're always like you're such a creative like person, you know what I mean? Everything you do adds flavor and very colorful, everything that you do, you know what I mean? So that's just you being yourself. Always, man, like, you know, whether you're rapping or producing or you know, behind the camera, it's like so many branches of your expression, you know what I mean? And it's beautiful, man. So yeah, man, keep doing what you're doing, brother, man. Enough love and respect.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on the show. Big up for you guys, always doing your thing. Much love, you know.
Yo, thank you
Yeah,
so
man.
much. Big up you every time. Big up Ms. Ikar, all the people with you. Safe travels, safe journey. Big up Uganda. And man, when you come back, it'll just be 2023, more Tough Dumplin chapter. We looking forward to what you're doing next, man. But enjoy Africa while you're there. As many pictures and video and stories as you can. Eat all the food you can. fill up your belly. Yeah. Yo, Jay, you gotta teach us how to eat Alexis. What do they call it?
No, a Rolex.
A Rolex. Yeah, a Rolex.
Yeah.
Bring back a Rolex recipe for us.
All right, I got you.
Right.
The Rolex.
Salute, brother.
All right, peace.
Yo,
Yeah,
love.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Peace. Yo, and that's what it is, man. Straight from Uganda, man. That was a beautiful plug-in connection, international. I love that, man. And I want to put into the atmosphere that we have more of these international connections. You know what I mean? Like different artists from all over the place tapping into the Reminisce Show, because there's so much history, man, that we need to uncover. And a lot of the history, man, once we start digging and realize how much we're more connected than divided. And I think that's one of the true essence of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to the cat in the background, man. I've been seeing the cat, man, holding it down. You know what I'm saying? Straight up.
We shall holding it down. Yes. Yeah. Our people. These are all our people. Yo, man. That was wonderful. Like, he's honestly one of the greatest, man. Yo, Tristan is, just hip hop, culture, music, art, embodiment. OG, I love that dude from time and always will. Like, it's such a pleasure and an honor anytime he does anything. So, like, big up every time.
So,
yeah, man. And thanks for lining it up. Thanks for aligning. Like, yeah, man. We
you know how we do it, man. Like, we make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just like that we're getting more, guests coming in. And next week, man, it's locked and loaded. I'm gonna mention right now, man. We got the brother KDB. You know what I'm saying? KDB is going to be coming through in the house. We got so much to build, man. This is like, a partner in rhyme with me, man. Like, we've done stuff from like, Poor Man Militia, and he goes even back to like Crooks at the Round Tables and so many other projects, Babylon War Child, like so much, like he has contributed so much to the scene, and we definitely want to give him his flowers. And he's been super consistent with the music, and I know there's so much to unpack. I'm going to go in the archives and bring up some stuff, man. So it's going to be kind of wild, and it's going to be beautiful. And what a great way to kind of, wrap up this year, man. We've been, documenting a lot, representing. And also, too, man, we also got the Cardi Party, man, this Thursday, man. So we're going to be, having the live and direct, man, Reminisce Show, history, collaboration, man, making sure we're bringing the people, to the events who can't be there, man. So it's exciting, man. There's a lot coming down the pipeline, and we're going to continue to build, continue to activate and inspire, man. Reminisce Show. Boom. That's how we doing it, man. So we're going to sign off like that. Everybody, man, peace for everyone who's joining us. As always, man, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Enough love and respect. And we're going to continue the traditions of Sankofa, man, because sometimes we got to go back and collect what we may have forgotten, That's what it's up, man. So we out like that, man. Peace, y'all.